Hey fam, welcome back to The Breakdown. I'm Sandra Bebu Boateng. So today we're taking it back, but also moving forward, because Namibia has a new president, and she's not here to play nice when it comes to colonial injustice. She's doing what many African leaders haven't dared to do, calling out Germany, demanding accountability, and refusing to let history be swept under the rug. So who is she? What happened between Germany and Namibia that still needs to be addressed? And why is this moment bigger than just one country? Let's break it down. But before we do, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss another critical conversation like the one we're about to have. So in March 2025, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah became Namibia's first female president and one of the few women to ever lead a nation in Africa. But make no mistake, she's not just making history by existing in power, she's using that power fast. In her first week in office, she ended visa-free entry for Western travelers. She reshuffled her cabinet, centralized control of Namibia's booming oil and gas sector, and made it clear Namibia is entering a new wave. But the boldest move yet? Her renewed challenge to Germany over one of the darkest chapters in African colonial history.
Our parliament discussed German genocide against the Namibian people. One, for Germany to accept that they have committed a genocide in Namibia. Number two, for Germany to apologize. And number three, for Germany to give reparations.
Let's rewind for a minute. Between 1904 and 1908, German colonial forces carried out what many historians recognize as the first genocide of the 20th century. And the victims? The Herero and Nama people of what was then called German Southwest Africa, now Namibia. After a rebellion against German colonial rule, the response was just brutal. Tens of thousands were killed, driven into the desert to die of thirst, or forced into concentration camps. That's right. Men were executed. Women were raped and enslaved. Skulls and body parts were shipped back to Germany for scientific research. Sound familiar? This was genocide. Long before the Holocaust, long before Rwanda, Germany had already tested its methods in Africa.
You see on the background over here, that's the Namib Desert. The sand will come and bury everything. But for some reason, the sand, the dunes, refuse to bury these people because their spirits are strong and they want their story to be told. We are in the Swakopmund Cemetery. In my background is the people who died in the concentration camp.
In this desert and across Namibia, between 1904 and 1908, German colonial forces displaced and killed up to 80% of the Herero tribe, some 80,000 people. Other ethnic groups like the Nama and the San also suffered grievously at the hands of the colonists. 10,000 Nama died, half their population, as well as an unknown number of San. This was the first genocide of the 20th century, but by no means the last. In many ways, Imperial Germany's treatment of the indigenous people of Namibia foreshadowed the barbarity of the Nazi Holocaust against the Jews and other groups during World War II.
The concentration camps were really, that's where almost a lot of our people perished from malnutrition, and a lot of them were forced to work on the railway, and they basically worked them to death.
Herero activist Jeff de Guhurimo has spent most of his adult life fighting for international acknowledgement of the genocide and restitution for the descendants of the victims.
I joined this struggle based on the stories that I recall my grandmother told me, and then when I started, as an adult, I started learning more and learning more. And ever since, I have never rested.
Finally, this year, the activism of people like Jefter appears to have paid off. In May, the German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas made a groundbreaking announcement.
Wir bezeichnen heute diese Ereignisse jetzt auch offiziell als das, was sie gewesen sind, ein Völkermord. Wir bekennen uns damit auch zu unserer historischen Verantwortung. Und im Lichte dieser historischen und auch moralischen Verantwortung Deutschlands werden wir Namibia und die Nachkommen der Opfer um Vergebung bitten.
A few months later, Namibia and Germany announced a draft agreement, which, say both sides, will bring closure to this dark chapter of history. If it goes ahead, Germany will formally apologize to Namibia and pay 1.1 billion euros in compensation, spread over 30 years.
So fast forward to the 21st century, and after years of activism, pressure, and negotiation, Germany finally acknowledged the genocide just back in 2021. They offered 1.1 billion euro over 30 years in development aid. But here's the catch. There has been no formal apology in Parliament, no direct reparations to the descendants of victims, and no meaningful consultation with Herero and Nama communities. And Namibia rightfully said, yeah, that is not going to cut it. Now, under President Nandi Ndaitwah, the conversation is heating up again, and she's made it very, very clear Germany must do more. And what does more look like? For starters, she wants Germany to recognize the genocide, officially, publicly. She then wants them to apologize, not behind closed doors, but to the people. And lastly, she wants them to pay reparations, not just development aid, but justice-based compensation. She said what they're offering, nah, it's not enough. And in her words, we cannot move forward as equals if historical wounds remain unhealed. She's not backing down. She's pushing for renewed negotiations. She's keeping this issue front and center in foreign policy, and she's hoping for an agreement by 2026, next year. So yes, she's even putting a timeline to it.
Now we reached it to the 1.1 billion euro. Our parliament felt that is nothing. We have to engage the Germans again. The document was ready to the extent that unless something really dramatically happened, I cannot see this process going to next year.
Now, this isn't just about Namibia, right? This is about Africa's right to demand accountability. For centuries, European nations extracted wealth, destroyed cultures, and committed atrocities, then just walked away with clean hands and closed history books. We've talked about many of them here on The Breakdown. Now, Namibia is saying, no, you don't get to move on until we do. This is about setting a precedent that colonial crimes have consequences, that reparations aren't just a buzzword, they're a step toward real healing, and that African nations can and must negotiate from a place of dignity, strength, and memory. So here's the question for today. Do you think Germany should go further with reparations? Is what they are offering, 1.1 billion euro, enough? Should other African nations demand the same justice? And honestly, what would justice even look like beyond just money? Drop your thoughts in the comments and like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care. Hey you! Thanks so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and join the family. Also, visit face2faceafrica.com for your daily news and updates on what's going on within the global Black community so you can stay informed.